In this video, I will show you whether you should pursue an investment project based on the present value calculation. Let's assume you can take out a loan for $80,000. And if you do so, you can invest that amount into buying a new machinery. This new machinery will produce new goods. These goods you can then sell for $45,000 each year. Let's assume you only look towards 2 years, so you have $45,000 that you will get after 1 year and $45,000 you will get after the second year. Now, to do this calculation, we need to make some clear assumptions. First, we assume there's a market interest rate and we can borrow and lend at that market interest rate. Second, we assume that this interest rate stays the same in the future. And we also assume that any money we get, we will immediately invest at the market interest rate. So, because we can borrow or lend at the same interest rate, if we borrow $80,000 US, we will have no incentive to then immediately invest it in a bank account again. But if we have an investment project, we can then determine should we do this investment or not. So let's start with first the loan, because we need to calculate what is the present value of this loan. To determine what the present value of this loan of $80,000 is, we need to look at the cash flow. So first I take out the loan, and then each year I need to pay interest on that, and after 2 years I need to pay back that loan. So let's look at the cash flow. The cash flow in period after 1 year will be equal to X, where X is the interest rate that I need to pay. So this is 80,000 times the interest rate. If the interest rate is 10%, this will be 8,000. If the interest rate is 5%, this will be 4,000. In period 2, I will need to pay back my loan, so 80K plus interest, so another X. Okay? And that's again 80,000 times the market interest rate. Next up, we need to calculate the present value of this. Present value will be equal to the future value over 1 plus the market interest rate to the power of how many years in the future I have to make or receive that payment. The future value is simply what I wrote here for the cash flow. N is the end of each year. The market interest rate, we need to assume a value. So let's calculate that here. And what we get is X over 1 plus I for this first period, and for the second period we get 80K plus X over 1 plus I squared. Now we can plug in an interest rate, let's say 5%, so we get 1.05 and 1.05. This means the X is 4,000 and we get 84,000 in the second period we need to pay back. We can add that up and we get our present value, which is a sum of all individual cash flow payments put into present value added up. Okay, if we do that, we get 80,000. If you plug it in the calculator, you get 80,000. This does not change if the interest rate changes. Why? Because as the interest rate goes up, this payment goes up by a similar proportion. So, no matter how high or low the interest rate is, we will always get a present value of 80,000 if we take out a loan for 80,000 and the interest rate stays the same. That's great. No matter what investment project we have, the loan we take out, the present value of that loan is always the amount of the loan. So all we need to do is we need to calculate the present value of this investment project. So, meaning what will be the cash flow of the machine I bought, and if that cash flow in present value is more than the loan I need to take out, I should do the investment. If it's less, I should not do the investment. Okay, let's now assume we get 45,000 from the machine over 2 years. So our cash flow from the machine, and we can use the same setup. Our cash flow from the machine is 45K and 45K. So after 1 year, I get 45,000, and after the second year, I get 45,000. So in total, the cash flow is 90,000. But because I get this return only in the future, I need to discount it using the market interest rate. So let's first assume this market interest rate is 10%. So present value with a 10% market interest rate. So we can put the 45,000 of the first year in present value, the 45,000 of the second year in present value, sum them up, and we can compare that. If it is the same as the 80,000, if it is higher than 80,000 in present value terms, we should do the investment. If it's less, we should not do it. So present value for 10% will be 45,000 over 1.1, because of 10%, 1 plus 10%, plus 45,000, 2 years, so it's 1.1 to the power of 2. And if we use a calculator, we find this is 78,000 rounded. This means this is less than 80,000, sorry, 80,000. We should not do the investment project. Now let's repeat that if the interest rate is 5%. If the interest rate is 5%, then I need to divide by 1.05. So I get 45K over 1.05 plus 45K over 1.05 squared. I can again use a calculator, and I find that's 84,000, which is greater than 80,000. So I should do the investment project if the interest rate is 5%, but if the interest rate is 10%, I should not do the project. Thank you for watching.